Hello everyone, Block Koopa here. I'm here with...
ChampionNBloom.
And?
Clock67.
And we're back with more Danganronpa.
Woo! Murders!
We're continuing to investigate the trial of Hiro... Or not Hiro, Taka and Hifumi. Hifumi, sorry. We just found Hiro.
We're investigating there.
And we're investigating.
Murder.
We finally found Hiro and Kyoko, so...
I'm not gonna do the thing again, don't worry.
Yeah.
Okay. Hifumi and Taka.
For a moment, Kyoko seemed to go rigid. But only for a moment.
So then...
Well then, let's get started.
She crouched down next to Taka and without hesitation began poking and prodding the
I
bodies.
knew it.
Monster File was right. They were killed using similar weapons.
Her movements were so smooth, she was so calm. Seeing how comfortable she was made me feel a little more comfortable. Taka was killed by a bullet to the head. He must have been struck with Justice Hammer 4, which was laying on the ground in the equipment room. And there's a tarp laid out under his body. Killer must have used it to move Taka's body. That would be why it wouldn't leave any blood. That way, it wouldn't leave any blood stains as it was moved. Okay. The biggest problem I have right now is how. Okay. This is the same thing. Yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess we'll talk to her.
I see.
Makoto, I found something.
You did?
Already?
You remember the wristwatch Taka always wore on his left hand?
You did?
Are you so oblivious to the people around you? Do you dislike the other people that much?
No, it's not that. Anyway, you said he had a watch?
So then...
Take a look. It's broken. You can see the hands aren't moving, right? Classic. It's most likely broke when he had his encounter with his assailant. And if you notice, the hands are frozen at just past 6 o'clock.
So that would mean the watch was broken sometime just after 6?
That's right.
But last night, Taka's watch definitely wasn't broken. Hey, you! How long are you gonna keep us waiting?
Taka's irritated voice pierced the air as he stared pointedly at his wristwatch.
It's almost 10 o'clock, you know that? Bedtime for all little boys and girls.
In other words...
So if it worked at 10 last night, it couldn't have been broken around. It couldn't have been broken at 6 p.m. Sorry about that.
Meaning it must have happened at 6 this morning.
It's an hour earlier than when Celeste was attacked.
It's an hour earlier than we were all in the gym.
Yeah.
Which means Celeste no longer has a less solid alibi.
Yeah.
It means a lot of us have a less solid alibi.
Yeah. And that's not all. Look at Taka's left hand.
Yeah, but I'm really suspicious of Celeste right now.
Yeah, he appears to be gripping something.
I'm just trying to be objective. You're right. There's something white in there.
Makoto.
Can you try and pry it out?
Me?
Because...
Rigor mortis has already set in. Boys are better suited to this kind of manual labor, right?
Okay. As much as I didn't want to, I grasped Taka's cold hand. The ice-cold hand was nearly enough to cause my heart to stop beating. After some effort, I was finally able to free the object from his tightly clenched fist. A piece of paper?
Hey,
Was that all he had in his hand?
Yeah, that's it. Just a little scrap of paper. It doesn't seem like much of a
Well,
clue,
that's
does it?
the perfect kind of clue. Come on. I wonder about that.
Kyoko then turned to Fumi's body.
so then...
Let's check Hifumi's body now. Perhaps he's left us to keep clues of his own. What's on the piece of paper? Is it blank?
It's blank.
Oh, okay. Well, then never mind. It's kind of not very useful then, huh?
The biggest problem are... Okay, fine.
Her again.
I'll talk to Kyoko again. Fine. Be that way, game.
So?
So, did you find anything?
I did. More than expected, to be honest. Look at this.
A wad of paper?
That's right.
Hifumi had it hidden on him.
Hidden?
Indeed.
He'd stuffed it in his pants. I can only assume he'd hide it on purpose. So I can only assume he'd hidden it on purpose, you see.
In his pants. Wait, so
Why
you...
is that?
It was just his pants. Not like his socks or something.
I don't know what that means.
Anyway, let's take a look at the paper. Go ahead, Makoto. Open it up.
When I think of how stuff in his pants, it's like, it better be important, Fumi, or I'll never forgive you for this. A note? I found a hole maybe we can use to escape. Monokuma can't find out, so let's don't tell anyone else for now. Let's meet up in the equipment room at 6 a.m.
So,
That sounds very familiar.
That's it. It's the same thing as Hiro said. Then he was telling us the truth.
however,
Although, it's not exactly the same, is it? Last night, someone slipped a weird note under my door, and here's what it said. I found a hole maybe we can use to escape. Monokuma can't find out, so don't tell anyone else for now. Let's meet in the rec room at 1 a.m. Oh.
The time is different. Hiro told us that his note said to meet at 1 a.m., but the note they wrote to Hifumi asked him to meet at 6 a.m.
is that right?
Hold on, just because Ifumi had the note doesn't mean it was meant for him.
Huh?
So,
Part of it had been torn off, right? I think there's likely some meaning there.
There's some meaning to
Paper together.
part of it being
Put it
ripped.
together.
Could you maybe explain it a little more?
Think carefully.
hey,
Why would he have been clutching that scrap of paper so tightly?
I have no idea.
so then,
What if it wasn't just a scrap of paper when he was holding it? What if What if it was something more important? And would someone important? Sorry, let me start this again. And
Yeah.
how would something important like that become a mere scrap of paper? That is what you need to answer. He was holding it, and Hifumi tore it out of Taka's-san. And while we're at it, I should tell you one other thing. The two victims this time definitely had their e-handbooks on them. So the handbooks have nothing to do with how the murders were carried out. Not that there was any reason to think they were connected to the killings in the first place. Well, other than the fact that they were connected to like the previous two killings.
So you're saying I don't have to think about the handbooks this time, right?
is that right?
If you didn't have to think about them at all, I wouldn't have gone out of my way to mention it. All I said is that they weren't used to help carry out the murders. There may become a point, however, where a handbook may play a role.
A handbook may play a role? I don't think I understand. If Kyoko thinks it's important, I better keep it in mind.
Okay. Oh,
Oh, here it comes.
Here
is
it
that
comes.
GG's? Well, I guess we're getting
Oh, no.
the tail end of an investigation scene and the trial in this episode, huh?
Time for the class
Huh?
trial
The tail end of the
to
investigation
begin.
and the trial in this episode, I guess.
The trial in this episode?
Yeah,
Yeah, we're gonna continue the trial in
yeah.
this episode.
So we cut
Like
off the
bright
previous
burst
episode a
of
little bit early.
fireworks.
Yeah,
Like
well,
the flash of a
that's
soul collapsing
Well, are you
with
saying that I
light
should
and
put this in the previous
No,
episode?
I'm saying that we're getting the tail end of the investigation along with the trial.
No further ado.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Everyone, please meet at the usual spot.
The usual
Make your
spots we
way
can go
to
discuss
the red
the.
door on the first floor of the school.
Do you know what I'm referencing?
Yes, I do. Please stop referencing things that are visual. Please stop
I'm
referencing
saying
things that are
ridiculous.
Okay, but still, he didn't see what you did.
Okay, I'm out with the word photos. I was gonna read that.
Oh.
Okay, you'll have to investigate the rest for yourself and come to a proper conclusion.
You're taking
Or
too
figure out
long
the rest.
referencing other things that have nothing to do with this.
I was gonna read that
Shall we
next.
go?
We better get going.
Okay.
I was referencing Kingdom Hearts. Okay.
Everyone had heard Monaco's proclamation, and they were gathered by the red door. As soon as as soon as we were all there,
What?
What? There's two of them now.
How do I do? Hello?
This is getting out of hand. Now there are two of them. We could have said that about the bodies too.
he's multiplied. Oh, that's true.
Nope, not multiplication. It just looks that way because of an illusion. Oh, that's you. Sorry.
Yeah.
I read your
I'm
line.
moving
my
on so fast it only looks like I've multiplied. Can you guys tell which one is the real Monokuma?
Can we just get to the elevator? Get on the elevator already.
You're not playing along.
We're not here to play with you.
Okay, fine.
Hey!
Then if everyone's here and ready to go, please board the pain train or elevator. I'll see you guys down there.
Let's go.
Okay then, shall we?
Please!
Hold on, I'm not mentally prepared yet.
What the heck?
You'll never be mentally prepared. You can't run away anymore, Hiro. You're gonna pay for your sins.
What the heck?
It's time for you to pay for your crimes. I told you already I didn't do it. That reminds me, did you ever find the other costume or the notes? Well, no, but how unfortunate. Then it would seem we have our culprit. Yeah,
Hey,
this isn't the place to talk about it. Save your accusations for when we enter the courtroom.
That's right.
She's right. Let's get down there first. Then the story can really begin.
Yeah, good idea. That's right. I have to do it. Can't let whoever killed Hifumi and Taka get away with it. For everyone who's still alive, and for the two that lost their lives.
nutcases though they may have been.
The one who killed Hifumi and Taka, the one who killed 2 of our friends. The killer is... someone right here. I took one last deep breath and exhaled slowly. I began to walk toward the elevator. Once everyone was aboard, the doors closed on their own, and the steel box began to move. The clunking of the elevator kept us company as we fell further and further down. There was no going back. Until we settled all this, we couldn't go anywhere. I'm not sure how long it was before the elevator finally came to a stop. The elevator doors slid open, opening up to onto a cruel fate.
When I see all of you gathered together like this, I realize just how few of you there are left. Your school life is slowly reaching its climax.
Just the worst.
Only because of you. Why are you making us do such cruel things to each other?
Well, what? Do you really hate me so much? But I'm so cute!
No, you're not.
Come on.
Stop goofing around and just begin the trial.
Don't rush me! Of course I'm gonna start it! I would never be late. Stay tuned for the action-packed class trial after this commercial break.
Speaking of commercial breaks, I'm kidding. I'm kidding, I'm not doing that.
Somebody say commercial break.
I'd never hold out on you like that. Okay, let's begin. Get to your assigned seats.
What's the word of the day today?
What?
That's our commercial break. Is the word
Oh.
of the day.
And so the curtain opened up once again. Okay, it's the same thing.
Is it? Anyway, I wasn't trying that hard that time.
He also said it really quietly.
There,
There you go. Set skills.
What? Oh, yeah, we have
Extraordinary focus.
choose to be extraordinary.
Indeed. Focus gauge by 2.
I think we made that joke already.
Yeah, we already did. I
Uh,
think that's it. Yeah, that's
well,
it.
You know, what can you do?
Alright. We're just gonna go straight into it, because we were only recording for 12 minutes.
Yeah,
Only
let's
12
heck and
minutes.
go.
Let's go! Let's do this thing!
All rise. Stand. Here.
Let's begin with a basic
You don't
history.
need
If
to do
you
I
can
know.
fin, I'll punish. Now,
I was
do
also
you know
just
who did
positioning
it?
my sittings position.
Was that?
Or,
It
I
was
was.
Hiro. He does not have
Changing
an
my settings.
alibi for when the murders took place, and we found him in that suit.
Don't try and deny it. You killed them.
I didn't. Someone knocked me out. I was asleep the whole time. I don't know anything about it.
Shut your murdering mouth, murderer!
Who are you calling a murderer?
That's a
I
good
am
point.
sorry to say, Hiro, but we do have evidence. Blueprints for the suit. Parts we assume were used to build it, and all of it was found in your room. You have to admit, the evidence is quite compelling. It points to you as having created the suit and wearing it while committing crime after crime.
How many times do I have to tell you? I don't know. I don't know.
Is Hiro really the killer? Or before anything else, we have to make that clear. Well, yeah. Before what else? We're trying to make it clear.
Everything we found in your room,
okay. Oh,
the blueprints, the suit parts, they are
Yasu's message was the note or his testimony?
Uh,
I don't know anything about that.
I believe that's. It would say out. It would say account. It would use the word account.
Hiro, why?
Yeah.
Why did
I can also just check. Oh no, that is his account.
Talking about his-
No, that's his account. Message. Yeah.
and his
Oh.
message is the one that he wrote about the dining hall
Hold on a second.
when we all met.
There's literally only one thing to shoot at. What the heck?
I think there were 2, weren't there? I'm looking at the blueprints.
I
that he
saw
wrote.
only one. I might be stupid though.
Honestly, his handwriting isn't
Everything we
even that
found in
messy.
your room.
Yeah, there's that too.
the blueprints,
Oh.
the suit parts,
Oh.
they are what you are.
Oops, I pressed the wrong button.
Why have you done this?
We are shooting at that, correct?
Yeah, his message at that.
Yeah.
Just hold on a second.
I should have pressed the fast forward instead of the slow down.
Everything we found in your room, the blueprints, the suit parts.
No, what's wrong?
Incorrect.
Yeah, I didn't see the first one, so like, there's only one.
Those blueprints?
What do you mean?
Well, take a look at this. It's the note that Hiro wrote. asking everyone to meet up after
Give me a sec, I'm gonna
Alter Ego
go
disappeared.
upstairs real quick and
Okay.
I'll be right
The
back.
handwriting's
Give me a sec.
obviously different.
You guys can continue without me. It's not like I'm gonna be reading any lines anyway.
Yeah.
Blueprints.
There's no way you could think the same person made both of them.
Unless that person made it a point to disguise their handwriting.
No, the differences are bigger than that, I think.
Come on! I'm not smart enough to think I'm trying to change my handwriting anyway.
So Makoto, are you saying you don't think Hiro's the culprit?
And he is not the only one. I think Hiro is innocent as well.
Then who was in that Robo-Justice suit? Is it
So it
like
was
Hiro
literally
said?
just Hina and Celeste.
Really someone running around in a second
And
suit?
Toko.
The suspicious
Oh, yeah, and
individual.
Toko's just
within the
trigger
suit.
happy.
I mean,
Go ahead, Makoto. Tell them who it was.
and of course he passes it off to me.
So, who was in the Robo-Justice suit?
Still Hero.
Suspicious individual. It was the Illuminati.
Illuminati.
It was you. I saw it that you were in
I
this
can't think of
suit,
anyone
Hina.
else it could have been. Obviously, he was the one in that particular suit, and we never found any kind of second suit.
Then there can be no doubt. Hiro is the prime suspect.
That doesn't make any sense. You just said Hiro didn't do it.
It makes perfect sense. Hiro was the suspicious individual in the suit, but he's not the culprit.
So what you're saying is...
That's right. The culprit in this case has nothing to do with being in the Robo-Justice suit.
Okay. In this case, exclusively, my opinions and Hina and Byakuya have flipped.
What?
And I find that weird.
Yeah.
Now that's a bold assumption.
And what reason do you have to make such a statement? You do have a reason, yes?
Of course. But before we get to that, there's something else we need to clarify first. So let's get that out of the way.
Hey, stop trying to boss us around.
All things have a proper order.
So what is it? What needs to be clarified?
We must clarify the method of transportation for Taka's lifeless body. It would
That
seem
seems pretty
that
obvious.
his corpse was moved using certain particular items. Makoto,
Yep.
can you tell us what they were?
Indeed I can.
It was the dolly.
Roller Plus
Because
767 is back with busy.
Indeed.
Alright, I'm back.
There's still one more thing. Things that were used. It's also the tarp.
I got it.
That's pretty easy.
They
weren't
Yep.
throwing the hardball at us
and
that
a
one.
tarp, right?
What did I miss?
What's the attitude?
So let's see if I can
We
explain.
said that we do indeed think that Hiro was the one in the suit, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he's the culprit.
Cool.
Taka's body disappeared from the equipment room, and then we rediscovered it in the repository. And when we found it for the second time, it was wrapped in a blue tarp, right? It was the same tarp that, up until then, was stored in the equipment room. So the killer must have seen it there, and decided to use it when they moved Taka's body. That way, they wouldn't leave any bloodstains while they were moving it.
Okay, that explains the tar. And the dolly?
Same thing. I'm sure the dolly was in the equipment room when we first found Taka's body there. But when the body disappeared, so did the dolly. Later, when Taka's body reappeared in the repository, so did the dolly.
In other words, you think they used the dolly to move the body. Am I right? But are you sure you are not mistaken?
Huh?
Are you absolutely positive the dolly was in the equipment room when we found Taka's body? That dolly was made specifically for moving large objects between the repository and the art room. It would be very strange indeed to discover it had made its way to the equipment room. Is it not possible that it was in the repository all along, and you simply
the tire
didn't
tracks in the
realize
blood.
She's raised an objection. How do you respond?
I respond by saying,
Okay. I'm back to wanting to hit him
There
again.
is no shame in being wrong. Nobody expects much from you anyway. We have all accepted the fact that you rarely understand what is
Okay, now I want her to be the murderer.
Hey, I've been finding the bodies a lot.
Yeah.
Or I've been finding the culprits a lot. Wow, I've never had anyone sound so nice while being so mean. But maybe I can change your mind. If I can just explain to them why the dolly must have been moved from the equipment room to the repository. Wait, we're doing a bullet time battle already?
What's our new element?
Probably the reloading. I'm surprised we're doing this immediately. I forgot. The moment of truth.
The Tromant of Muth?
Tromant of Muth. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I cannot agree. You are a fool. So pathetic. Lies will get you nowhere. Do your worst. Away with you. You miserable wretch. I cannot agree. You are a fool. Lies will get you nowhere.
It's not using my bullets right now.
You miserable wretch. You have it wrong. I cannot agree. You are a fool. So pathetic. Lies will get you nowhere.
How do you know that,
Cannot agree.
when you're supposed to press right click or left click?
Right click puts the reticle on them, and left click fires to destroy all of them.
Interesting, okay.
I have it right here. When I found the dolly in the repository,
They just had to make it into a minigame to explain that.
That was very early.
Yeah, that was
Bullet
really
time battle.
full of blood in the
Yeah, it's
equipment
kinda weird.
room with the tire marking that matched the dolly
Oh,
wheel's
well.
tread. The killer probably rolled the dolly through the blood on accident as they wheeled the body out of the room. And as the blood dried on the tire, they moved the body into the repository. So there's my proof that the dolly was used to move Taka's body.
Jeez, the sluts really hate me that
Well,
much.
Anyway, that was just something we had to get out of the way. Let's get back to the main subject.
Yeah, the subject of how Robo-Justice didn't do it. Because if it's not a killer robot, then what kind of robot is it?
I'm not sure that really matters.
It's a robot of justice, obviously.
Clearly, it's in the name.
Couldn't possibly be the killer.
Because
If
every
you look
name
back on
always
how the
means
body
exactly
was
what it says it
transported,
means. Isn't that right?
It will become immediately obvious.
If I look at how the
Oh,
body was
right,
moved,
because you need to bend over in order to move the dolly, but you can't bend over at the waist while in the robot suit.
It's true. Do I have a bullet for that, though? The costume?
yeah.
There it
Fair
is.
enough.
As
Or
you
we
know,
also scan.
Taka was killed in the equipment room. And from there, the body was moved to the repository, correct?
Yeah, the culprit wrapped the body in the tarp.
Anytime I mention the dolly, I'm just gonna...
Right?
Yeah, we could shoot it there, but I'd like to look through the whole thing again.
It doesn't have a handle.
Well, yeah.
Hmm.
Without a handle, all you'd have to do is bend over.
Oh, there it is. There's the power of the shoot.
yeah.
So the
You were the one in the suit, Tina.
carted the body off to the repository.
If you accept everything we just said, then you must realize that whoever was in the suit couldn't possibly be the culprit.
Sorry, I don't think I realize anything.
I do.
You're not helping your case, man. We're trying to prove you didn't do it, right? They're trying to prove you didn't do it.
We know where we're shooting.
Loaded it on now. Keep in mind. All you'd have to
I'm sorry, but everyone's voice on helium.
That's basically what it is. Yeah. It's really fun. And you can slow it down.
You're absolutely right that you could push a dolly without a handle if you stoop down low. But if you were wearing that suit, do you think you could actually get into a position like that?
What do you mean?
Think back to what you said when we were all checking out the suit together. Remember?
I'm blind as a bat in here. Can't see my feet at all. I'm surprised you got anywhere in this thing. I'm telling you, it wasn't me. And not to mention, you totally can't bend at the waist. Seems like a pretty obvious oversight. Those lines were voiced earlier. Why wouldn't they be voiced then too? It doesn't make any sense.
But you
It's not like they're missing the voice of the bastard.
Am I right about
Whatever.
that?
Now that you mention it, yeah.
It seems like it'd be awfully hard to push that dolly if you couldn't bend over.
Well, what's to stop you from simply pushing the dolly with your feet?
When you can't even see your feet? You really think someone could kick the dolly all that way?
There's also stairs to keep in mind.
No, it was on the same floor.
Oh, was it?
We're talking about Taka's body.
Yep.
Oh, never mind.
Well, also, people have kinesthetic sense. You could you know where your feet are, generally speaking. And you can feel for the... I think that's a weak argument, anyway.
But not if Hero was drugged like we're saying he was.
Yeah, I mean, it's unlikely that you'd be able to get away with doing that without anyone noticing.
I'm just saying, I feel like that was a weak argument from Makoto.
Yeah.
If you were wearing such a rigid, cumbersome suit, it's very unlikely you would have the dexterity to go about wrapping your body in a tarp.
That's unfair.
Isn't that just a matter of taking off the suit when you're ready to move the body?
Yeah.
You can't take it off by yourself.
Yep.
Or we could just insult Hero real quick.
Hero's too stupid for that. Just kidding. I don't know what's up with this thing, but I can't actually get it off. A little help? How would you make something you can't take off by yourself? I didn't make the stupid friggin' thing. There's a clasp on the back that keeps you from getting it off. Looks like it's pretty sturdy. Or it looks pretty sturdy. I don't think you can get it off on your own. No, we have a choice. Let's help him.
That's true. It seems impossible to put the suit on or take it off without help.
Then you really can't take it off by yourself? Hero wasn't just making it up?
Of course I wasn't making it up.
If he could have gotten it off by himself, I don't think he would have let us see him wearing it. Showing up in the suit was basically an invitation for everyone to suspect it.
Yeah, that's right.
So, it's really, really true that Robo Justice couldn't have moved the dolly?
To be clear, whoever did move the body, it couldn't have been Hero in the robot suit, correct?
No, wait. Just a second, if you please. Have you forgotten about the picture that I took? You all got a good look at it, did you not? The image of Hifumi being dragged away by Robo Justice? If whoever was in that suit is not the culprit, how do you explain that? Besides, do you remember what the now deceased Hifumi said?
How did you get hurt? That guy hit me.
What guy?
Robo Justice. Or that's what I decided to call him just now.
So long as those facts exist, the proper conclusion is beyond question. The individual inside the suit and the culprit are one and the same. It was Hero, without a doubt.
Yeah, that's gotta be right.
Still does not make any sense. That just...
It's still far too early to reach that conclusion. Besides, there's no hurry to decide who did it. Before we rush to a verdict, shouldn't we explore every single possibility? Instead of seizing on one viewpoint, the truth is uncovered by analyzing things from every angle.
Perhaps, but where do we go from here?
Let's review this series of unfortunate events from the beginning. Maybe we'll uncover something new.
So what, are we going to be doing that early too?
Do what? Oh, the review?
What a pain in the ass!
Oh, that'd be
I don't
weird, man.
disagree,
yeah,
but our
I
lives
don't think
are on
that's
the
what it's gonna be.
line. If this is what it takes, we have to do it.
Plus, maybe we'll get to
I was
find
kidding, I
out
don't
where the
think
heck
we can do that.
Kyoko was when everything went down.
All right then, let's take another look back at what happened. I suppose we could start with this morning. 4 of us gathered together in the dining hall. Makoto, Hina, Kyoko, and myself. We waited there for quite a while, but nobody else showed up, so we went to look for everyone. That was around 8 a.m.
And as soon as we split up, Kyoko went missing.
Soon after that, Hina found Celeste in the rec room and quickly came to get Makoto and me.
It seems I was unconscious for about an hour after I was attacked by my mystery assailant. I know it was an hour because I remember being attacked a little after 7.
That was when we saw Celeste's picture and discovered that her assailant had been wearing a strange costume. As it turns out, it was Robo Justice. It also soon became clear that this same Robo Justice had abducted Hifumi. We were soon joined in our search by Byakuya and Toko, and then went on to find Hifumi in the library. He was injured, so we took him to the nurse's office and resumed our search for the suspect. But not long after leaving the nurse's office...
What's wrong?
I saw a shadow, something moving at the top of the stairs.
When Celeste told us that, we
Not
decided
knowing
to
when it's
split
gonna
up
voice
and
itself or
search the
not.
second floor.
Yeah.
And soon after that,
I saw someone moving around on the 3rd floor, and I yelled out to everyone as soon as I did.
I still feel like Celeste was way too in control of what happened.
Celeste, what's wrong? That was a rather intense scream for someone like you. I saw him, strange costume man. He ran off as soon as I screamed. I was walking stairs, so he headed further down into the hallway and disappeared.
and then,
Yeah. What was that? That came from downstairs. It must have been...
Hifumi, he's in the nurse's office. This is bad. Come on, we have to go back.
at that point we decided to divide up into 2 groups. Celeste, Hina, and I went back to the nurse's office, while Sakura, Byakuya, and Toko chased after the suspect. When we got back to the nurse's office, we found Hifumi, dead. And that's when we heard the body discovery announcement. I left Celeste and Hina there and headed
He wasn't
back
quite
to the
dead
3rd
yet,
floor
though.
to let the others know what had happened.
Meanwhile, we had just discovered
This was
Thomas'
voice.
body in the equipment room.
Yeah.
We must have
Well, this
found
is
both
a narration,
bodies at
just over a
almost
picture.
exactly the
Yeah,
same time.
This isn't the flashback.
Because we heard the same announcement not long after we discovered his body.
Maybe the announcement was for tacos and
And that's when I
Hifumi's.
told you guys about Hifumi. Then the 3 of us headed for the nurse's office. But right after we left the physics lab, we ran into Celeste, who'd arrived after us. And she told us something very surprising.
Like, listen to this flashback. Notice how much Celeste has like been doing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Hifumi's body has disappeared.
We rushed back to the nurse's office and saw that she was
So what
right.
you're saying is if we were playing Among Us, then she'd be sus.
Yes.
Then we remembered
Like she.
we'd
I feel like she's
Toko
orchestrating this
said we
entire
took her,
thing.
So we hurried back again.
Not like the whole school situation, but like the murder.
Hmm.
Yeah, this can't be happening. Are we hallucinating all this or something?
But when we got there, we discovered that now Taka's body had also gone missing. Next thing we knew, we were searching the school for 2 missing dead bodies. And after some time,
Celeste informed us that she'd found the bodies, and we all headed to the repository, which is where
Ooh,
we
she was the one who found
discovered
the bodies,
the
so
corpses.
you're telling me. That's pretty sus.
She's the one
Yeah,
with darn near everything.
Maybe it's a self-report.
yeah, it's a
think that
self-report, I
about
bet.
covers it.
I see. The whole thing sounds exceptionally
So dumb.
complicated.
Anyway.
It certainly seems to me that these are not a simple series of connected events.
Okay,
Did we
well,
see her vent though?
if that's true,
I didn't see her
then
vent,
what?
I didn't see her
personally.
vent.
Rather than a single series of events, I think we have to consider each murder a separate situation. And from there, we can uncover the contradictions surrounding all of them.
Did we
Now,
get time
let's
of
get
death on
started,
Taka's body?
Beginning with what happened to Taka.
Did we?
You mean on the Monokuma file?
Yeah.
Yeah, check the Monokuma file. Did you see the time of death for both of them?
Nope.
We didn't get a time of death for either.
So it could have been killed earlier.
We didn't get a time of death anywhere.
So it could have been killed at like 1 a.m. Hifumi could have been killed while we were scrambling around searching for the killer. And then they found Taka's body long after he deceased. He'd been deceased.
So, regarding Taka's death, I wonder if he died before Hifumi, or perhaps it was after?
We already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last
No, we don't.
what makes you say that?
because of the numbering of the Justice Hammers.
It's true that Hifumi was killed with Justice Hammer 3, while Taka's death came from a swing of Justice Hammer 4.
See? So it's obvious Taka came after.
That's not very clean.
Yeah.
That's not very.
But wait, what am I supposed to be sending?
The cause of death, 3 keys, a blow to the head, just that they were both killed with a similar weapon.
I'm thinking I have to scan one and shoot it at the other, but I'm not sure which.
Yeah, I think that's what you have to do.
Maybe, yeah.
Weren't there only two, or am I missing something
I
again?
think there were only two.
We already know what order they were killed in.
Yeah, or order.
Let's just... Should I shoot this one at the other one?
You say that.
Sure.
What does it say?
Because of the numbering of the justice hammers.
It's
No,
true that
the
Hifumi
freaking
was killed with
purple
Justice
stuff that
Bartaka's death.
Purple.
See? So it's obvious Havoc.
See?
So,
That's not
I wonder
extraordinary.
if, or perhaps it was, we already know what order they were killed in. Taka came last.
What makes you say?
Because of the numbering of the justice hammers.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, okay.
Incorrect.
Hold on. There's no reason to assume that the hammers were used in the same order as their numbers. If anything, that's just another way the killer tried to disguise their actions.
So you're saying the culprit wanted us to think the hammers were used in order, but in reality, Taka was killed before Hifumi? Okay then, let's see the proof.
Evidence that proves Taka was killed before Hifumi? There's something that relates to what time he must have died.
Oh yeah, the watch.
His wristwatch.
Hangman!
Focus.
Wristwatch. The
Yeah,
wristwatch.
Obviously.
Nah, this one's easy.
Wrist. Come on, game.
Yeah, I can slow it down here too.
You know, fast forward though.
Yeah, I can.
Now I understand. I got it. Taka's wristwatch. See? Look. It broke with the hands pointing just past 6 o'clock.
It must have gotten broken when he was attacked by the killer. Because as of last night,
Hey you, I'm sorry. Hey you, how long were you gonna keep us waiting?
Taka's irritated voice pierced the air as he stared pointedly at his wristwatch.
It's almost 10 o'clock, you know that? Bedtime for all the little boys and girls.
so if it wasn't broken after 6 last night, then he must have been attacked around 6 this morning.
Besides, I feel like it's pretty safe to assume that the moral compass would have a watch anyway. That way he could look at what time it is for when he needs to do stuff.
Yeah.
And that would be his official time of death.
But if that's true, then he was killed well before Hifumi.
And before Celeste was attacked this morning, which happened around 7.
That's right. Taka was killed before any of the other incidents took place.
That simple fact slipped past all of us. We made the wrong assumption about the order of events, all because of those justice hammers.
That's exactly why the culprit wrote the numbers on each hammer and had them increase in size.
This music totally sounds like Monkey Ball.
When we
I
saw
already said
how
that
they were
earlier.
used
Yeah,
in
you
the
did.
incident, we'd easily make that wrong assumption.
Now, if Taka was killed around 6, then everyone's alibis for his murder go out the window. Because when he was killed, we hadn't met up in the dining hall yet.
That may be true in the case of Taka's murder. But all of our alibis still hold true for Hifumi's death.
That's right. With him, at least, we're all safe.
Huh?
What was all that? Came from downstairs, must have been. Hifumi, he's in the...
Oh, Hifumi, he's in the nurse's office. This is bad. Come on, we have to go back. There's also a lot of There's also a lot of flashbacks of the same thing happening.
Yeah.
Then we all ran down to the nurse's office, and that's where we found his body.
That's totally true. We're all in the clear.
Oh, I know! They must have recorded him screaming on a tape or something, then played it later on!
If that's true, where's the tape?
I don't know.
Don't just go making stuff up.
Anyway, we all have rock-solid alibis for when we heard Hifumi scream. Since all of us were there together, clearly none of us could have killed him.
And it does not stop there. There was also the moment when we discovered his body had disappeared. When his body vanished from the nurse's office, Hina and I were in the bathroom together, while everyone else was in the equipment room. Correct. And then
Oh,
there's
sorry.
the disappearance of Taka's body from the
I keep
equipment
doing
room.
half the last word, so it's fine.
Yeah, I do that occasionally.
We were all gathered together in the nurse's office because of Hifumi going missing. Well, don't forget, I was passed out in the equipment room the whole time.
Wait, then what if Genocide Jill did it? She could have dragged Taka's body out of there right then.
Even if she could pull that off, there's no way she could have done the same with Hifumi's body. Because, as we just established, she was passed out in the equipment room when his body disappeared.
Besides, I didn't do either of them anyway. In other words, it is impossible that any of us could have killed Hifumi or moved either of their bodies. On the other hand, Hiro and Kyoko had disappeared, so they most certainly could have done those things.
So what now, Kyoko?
Seems like a good point to stop. Real quick.
Music changed, so.
Also, how long have we been recording? We can continue.
For now, we can't get fixated on who did it, or we'll just keep going around in circles. So instead of who, I propose we start talking about how. In particular, I think we need to figure out how Hifumi's body got moved.
That's true. We searched everywhere, but we couldn't figure out how to explain his body disappearing. And according to what Celeste said,
He could not have been gone for more than a minute or two, though.
So then the killer was able to get in and move Hifumi's body in that short amount of time?
It would seem so.
his body apparently disappeared in the 1 minute her and Hina took their eyes off of it. But to carry that much weight from the first floor up to the third in that short amount of time?
Oh man.
They really only needed to carry it up to the
No way.
second.
It'd be impossible.
Well, what if I told you there was a way to make the impossible possible?
What? How?
The time machine.
A time machine.
If the dead body were to move itself.
He wasn't quite dead yet.
Dead body moved on its own?
No, not another ghost.
I don't think it has anything to do with the occult. I think what she's implying is, we thought Hifumi was dead, but perhaps in reality he was still alive.
I mean, none of us checked his pulse.
Alive?
Are you saying Hifumi wasn't
Obviously
carried
he was
out of
still
the nurse's
alive.
I mean,
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to accidentally click.
he was dead.
Perhaps he was simply playing dead.
That it isn't possible.
The idea that Hifumi was still alive, is it really possible?
Yes.
Celeste is rather flummoxed.
You literally put a tear on his cheek and he opened his eyes and said stuff.
Yeah.
Why is this in
Are you saying
question?
that when we first found Hifumi
Everybody
in
was
the
around.
nurse's
Well, that was
office,
it. No, that was
there's a chance
Oh,
he was
understand.
actually still alive?
obviously.
It is impossible. Hifumi was dead, without a doubt.
And you know that how?
Surely you heard the body discovery announcement along with the rest of us. Hifumi's dead body had been found. And that is why the announcement was made.
Uh-uh.
Are we really
That's
so
because
sure
tacos was
about
weird.
that? Maybe the announcement was intended to signal someone else's discovery.
Ah, missed it.
Well, I think you want to take Celeste's point playing at that.
Are you saying that when we first
Yeah.
I would think, right?
No.
Okay.
It is Hifumi was dead, and you know that.
That's what I would think, right?
Yeah, I was
Because you
I
can't
was-
take,
I'm
can you
thinking-
take one of those scanned bullets to the next.
Maybe the announcement
To
this
was
one?
intended to
Yeah.
signal someone
Okay, I'll do it
else's
next time.
discovery.
Can you take a scanned bullet past this section right here to the next discussion?
No.
Like, can you take the last one to that? Okay.
Yeah, so it
Oh, no. I thought you meant, like to the next, session.
No,
This.
the next rotation of
Yeah, I can do that. I just did.
Maybe the announcement was intended to signal
No, like,
someone
scan
else's
that and carry it on to the next
Oh,
round.
okay, never mind that.
Yeah. I knew that was wrong, but I was playing along, because we haven't
I was
hit.
trying to ask if you could take a bullet to the next rotation.
Well, I thought you were talking about the next time that we do this, not just rotating.
And that
Oops.
is why the
Are we really? Maybe the announcement was intended to signal someone else's discovery.
Okay, that's what I was trying to
Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry.
He was
I
Alright.
didn't understand the question.
Hifumi was dead, and you know that.
Surely
You heard the body discovery announced. Hifumi's dead body had been found.
Sorry, I
Dang.
misunderstood the question.
That's okay. We'll get that health back.
We'll get
Was the
help.
body discovery announcement that was made really intended for Hifumi?
Of course it was. The announcement played right after we discovered his body.
Maybe.
And again, right after he died for real.
The time that Taka's body was found.
That's right. It wasn't long after finding his body that we heard the announcement.
So there's a good chance we made a mistake in there somewhere. I think we've confused whether the announcement was for Hifumi or Taka.
First of all, if 2 bodies had been found, there really should have been 2 announcements.
Maybe Monokuma simply got lazy and rolled them together into one.
What do you say, Monokuma? Any comment?
Well, it's a very sensitive issue, so I can't go into too much detail. But what I can say about the body discovery announcement is that it's only broadcast when 3 or more people find a dead body for the first time.
That didn't answer our question, man. We're asking if you're a lazy bum.
No, actually, that was plenty. Huh? He said it's only broadcast when a body is discovered for the first time. Which means, even if we find the same body again later, he won't make the announcement again. If that's true, then why was the announcement made again later on?
Huh? Later on?
Exactly. We heard the body discovery announcement twice.
Second discovery announcement. First time it played was when we found each body in the nurse's office, the equipment room. The second time was when?
Just after Hifumi came back to life.
Nah, it's not.
Never mind.
Let me see the options again. When
Yeah, I need to see
was
it.
found
That's good.
unconscious when both bodies were rediscovered, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
We heard it a second time.
Yeah, I thought it was earlier than it was.
When we
Even though
rediscovered the
it
2
was.
bodies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was after he like died for real.
But it contradicts what Monokuma just told
No,
us,
it wasn't. It was
doesn't
when we opened the door.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If we were actually rediscovering both bodies, the announcement shouldn't have played.
And in reality, when the 2 dead bodies were rediscovered, one of them was actually being discovered for the first time.
So, when we found Hifumi the first time in the nurse's office, he wasn't actually dead yet. Meaning, he wasn't actually found dead until we came upon him in the repository.
One of you should have checked his pulse.
Mm-hmm.
There's one other thing that leads me to believe he was still alive in
Yeah,
the nurse's
I
office.
know what it is.
Oh, I know! Because he was super good at playing dead! Bada bing, bada boom!
That is the worst logic I have ever heard. But honestly, I do not think there's anything that can
Oh,
prove
I
he was still alive.
Okay then.
So that's just trying really hard to shut this down.
Then it
Yeah.
should become clear
Oh,
whether
I didn't
he
mean
was
to.
really alive
I
or
accidentally
not.
clicked again.
This whole thing is
I'm getting trigger happy.
A little bit.
Has to be proof.
I think I know what it is.
Wiping his glasses off.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Well, here's one thing we do know. The first time we found Hifumi's body was in the nurse's office. And then, while me and Celeste were in the bathroom, his body disappeared.
And the next time we saw his body, it was in the repository.
But when you compare his body before being moved and his body after being moved, other than the change in how it was positioned, there was no notable difference.
Yeah, that's the
That's
obvious
what
one.
it did.
Then,
Yeah, that's what it
Pretty
did.
obvious.
still alive.
Of course not. It is impossible. This is ridiculous.
Well, here's
Pretty
one.
obvious.
The first time we found him, and then his body disappeared.
And the next
More
time it was
seconds.
in
But when you compare his body to other than the change in how there was no notable difference.
It does not get old. It's so silly.
Yeah.
In fact, there was one clear difference between Hifumi in the nurse's office and the repository. His glasses. That fact alone proves that he was only playing dead in the beginning.
Perhaps you'd like to fill the rest of us in?
When we found Hifumi in the nurse's office, his glasses were covered with blood. But when we found him again later in the repository, they were spotless. And I found the item he used to wipe them clean in the nurse's office trash can.
Yeah.
I got it! It was a glasses cleaning cloth featuring a certain cartoon mascot. One look at the bloodstain on the cloth should make things clear. This piece of cloth was used to wipe Hifumi's glasses clean. And the mascot on the cloth is the same one that's on the digital camera, right? And whose digital camera was it? Hifumi's, of course.
The character was Princess Piggles from Demon Angel Pretty Pudgy Princess, I think.
I highly doubt anyone but Hifumi would have brought something like this to school.
I see your point. And the only people here who wear glasses are...
I wouldn't be caught dead using a tacky piece of garbage like that.
Yeah.
Tissues is all I need to keep my glasses clean.
Then there's no question.
I thought you just licked them clean with that freakishly long tongue.
You didn't even have to remove them. Delicious blood.
What I'm saying is,
I mean, she's
She's like the person.
Yeah.
She's like the kind of person that would find blood delicious.
Yeah, I know, right? She's literally a serial killer.
Blood off himself.
But who would benefit from a clean pair of glasses other than the glasses owner?
That's a good point.
And it must have been him, right?
So let's assume that Hifumi was still alive in the nurse's office. He pretends to be dead. Then when he's alone, he wipes his glasses clean so he can see. Then he stands up and walks out on his own 2 feet. And with that, the impossible task of moving his copious corpse becomes possible, wouldn't you say?
But then, if he was just pretending to be dead, what was with all that blood? Was it paint or something?
The fridge in the nurse's office contains packs of blood for emergencies. He probably used one of those.
Yeah.
I figured if he was gonna play dead, he should go
I didn't quite think of that. I thought it was actually bleeding.
everywhere. But he got crazy with it and had to wipe his glasses off when he was done. God, what an idiot!
And if Hifumi was still alive at that point, the disappearance of Taka's body is easily explained. It should be perfectly obvious who must have moved Taka's corpse.
It was clearly Sakura. Or Taka himself. What is it?
Nicholas?
Hifumi?
I got it!
So,
It could only have been Hifumi.
While we were all gathered in the nurse's office, he went to the equipment room and took Taka's body.
That also explains how the door to the repository got locked.
The door was locked? Well, after the bodies disappeared, we all went looking for them, right? So me and Sakura headed for the repository. But when we got there, the door was locked.
And the repository door can only be locked from the inside. Which means when Hina and Sakura got to the repository, someone was already inside.
And it could only have been Hifumi, who just finished stashing Taka's body there.
He convinced us all he was dead, and when he saw his chance, he dragged Taka's body to the repository.
Real quick.
but then how would the door have gotten unlocked for him to get through?
We can still go for another, 10 minutes. I'm trying to find a good place in the case, because I feel like this one, considering the last trial took us 2 hours, I feel like this one should probably be split into 2 episodes as well. So I'm trying to find a good place, but we can go for a little bit longer.
Hifumi wasn't just another victim in this case. He was one of the assailants.
But that means he took part in the murders.
I just can't believe it.
If you're having trouble, would you like me to show you one more piece of evidence?
There's more?
Oh, absolutely. The single biggest fact pointing to his involvement has yet to be revealed. You know what I'm talking about, right, Makoto? The item he took off of Taka's lifeless body?
I like how she says, "I'll show you."
I'll show you. Makoto, show him.
Makoto, what is it?
You're just an extension of my pockets, right? You show him the note.
Which one is it?
It's the note his family had. That's one of the two. What did I even say?
Yeah,
What are
I'm
the
gonna do. I'm gonna say Kiyotaka's scrap of paper because he was the one who had it.
Mm-hmm. One edge has been torn. My guess is I would think that it would let us pick either and then say and then we pick the other.
So which one are we doing?
Your call, Nicholas.
Let's go with Kiyotaka's because it's the one specific. Wait, no, hang on. No, wait.
Well,
I just pressed it. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
I realized that like last second.
I realized
what
I
I should
wasn't
have
doing
done.
a good job earlier of making it so Nicholas was the one actually making the decisions, so I am sticking through. If he says I'm presenting an evidence,
No,
I'm
you can do
presenting
that.
evidence.
You're talking about the note Hifumi had hidden away, aren't you?
I'm giving him chances to think about it, but I am presenting the evidence. One could even say, I will submit the evidence.
That's right. We found it stuffed in his pants.
What? In his pants?
Gross.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, well, forget about the pants for now. Take a look at what the note says.
That's a face right there.
Yeah, there's a face. Find a hole maybe we could use to escape. Monokuma can't find out, so don't tell anyone else for now. Let's meet in the equipment room at 6 a.m.
That's the note I was telling you about. The one that told me where to go.
Yeah, the time difference wasn't the only thing that was different.
This one's a little different. In my note it said,
I thought I noticed that, but I wasn't
Monokuma
100%
can't
sure.
find out, so don't tell anyone else for now. Let's meet in the rec room at 1 a.m.
I see. Then this note isn't the same one Hiro got.
It's not the same?
In other words, the killer got in touch with another person besides Hiro. And that person could only have been...
Me!
Alright, do it.
Do it?
You know who it could have been. You know who it could have been. No, Ataka.
That's a great and
That is a fantastic answer.
And then it cuts to Family Feud. Good answer, good answer.
Hello, over here! Objection! Objection!
Oh, she objected.
Uh-oh.
And it didn't do the thing. It didn't put the onomatopoeia.
Did she switch to turn it on?
What's going on?
I doubt it.
Hifumi had that letter, right? So whoever wrote it wasn't drawing out TikTok, they were drawing out Huffy! Just to be clear, TikTok is Taka and Huffy is Hifumi, right? Oh, yes! Why must you ruin it every time?
Man, Genesis Jacket suits is scary, but still. I can't let her get the can't let her get to me. I think is what it said.
This is where you present the towards crap.
No, it's not, evidently.
No, I guess not.
Huffy had the note, right? Then the person it was intended for must have been Huffy!
Ah.
But remember what the note said. What time did it say to meet?
6 a.m.
The time doesn't matter!
Oh, the wristwatch. The time does matter.
Nothing to do with TikTok!
Please don't yell.
Huffy had the note, right? Then the person it was must have been Huffy! But remember, what time did it
The reason why they had the hangman thing is so we can actually use this later.
TikTok!
Yeah, probably. That's a good point. I didn't even think of that.
What?
The fact that we had to find the wristwatch through a hangman instead of finding it through here, because it was going to be used later.
Is a connection.
I mean, they could just reuse the same piece of evidence twice, but yeah. I guess they just wanted us to play a minigame.
I guess the intention is to use every single one at least.
We were like, we made this minigame, and you are going to use it at some point during this trial.
The note said to meet at 6 a.m., which is the same time Taka was murdered. You've already proven that using his wristwatch. But there's more. Look where the note says to meet. The equipment room, right?
Which is where Taka was killed. I see.
So, Taka was murdered at both the time and place written in the note. I think that should be plenty to show that this note was definitely meant for Taka.
Well, when you put it like that... No further objections!
Then someone
Oh man, how did she not
trick
just
Taka,
bite her own tongue off of
just
that
the same as
straw?
me. The culprit really is a cold-blooded monster, telling people they found a way out.
But if they gave the note to Taka, what was Hifumi doing with it?
Stuffed down his pants, no less.
Most likely. Hifumi stole it off Taka's corpse after he died.
Huh? He stole it?
Where's your proof? Go ahead, show us.
This is where we present
And
it.
yeah, this is the scrap.
Yeah.
I feel like the game is just making us jump through hoops to get all this logic to pull through.
Yeah.
It's kind of obvious,
When I
right?
searched Taka's body,
Hey, look who's at
I
full
saw
health
that his
now.
life was
Yay,
hidden
full health
in
again,
this
finally.
paper. If I'm right about this, the sheet of paper this piece came from is... I knew it! It
Yeah.
fits perfectly with the note we found hidden on Hifumi.
It's not signed. That makes me upset.
Crap.
Of course it's not going to be signed.
Why would it be signed?
Yup. They're from the same
Just
piece
because
of
the one
paper.
in the first case was?
Hifumi had the note meant
That's
for
true, the one in
Taka,
the first case
while
was signed,
Taka's
wasn't it?
corpse still grasped a small piece of that note.
That's because it was
Well,
supposed
that
to go into
implied
that
that
particular...
was going to give the person who received the note where to go.
Yeah, because this one is a room. The other one was their dorm. So they'd have to know the
There's only
who.
one way
Yeah,
to
they had to
explain
have
it.
wrote it in order to figure out where to go.
Clutching the note. Hifumi tried to free the note from his death grip, leaving behind only one small scrap. Did I get all that right?
That means Hifumi knew the note was important.
Exactly. Which proves that he was an accomplice in the murder.
Whoa. Yeah. After seeing all this, Hifumi was super involved in this whole thing for sure. In fact, he was behind the whole thing. In fact, he's still alive.
Sorry, no. When we found him in the repository, Hifumi was truly and completely dead. The second body discovery announcement proves that.
So then, who killed Hifumi?
I think that is going to be a good place to stop for this episode, and we'll try to continue and finish the trial in the next episode.
Sounds good.
Does that sound good?
Sounds good.
Alright, in that case, we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.